Hello, this is Cuckoo. I'm right here at the NAMM show at Keith McMillen's booth in 2016, and finally, you guys are releasing the K-Mix.
Yeah.
You know, it's been under. First of all, this is Dustin,
Hi. Hello, everyone.
and it's been in development for a long time, right?
It has. It has. We had to do a lot of extra work, just getting everything set exactly right. A lot of work went into the preamps. A lot of additional R&D throughout the year just to make sure everything was sounding really good. Yeah. And we're really excited that it's out now.
So one special thing about the preamps, I guess one of the hurdles is that it's all powered from USB, from one USB.
Yeah.
So
it was a little bit of the hurdle getting it ready because, you know, powering both of the preamps just off of 5 volts, there were some additional problems that came up along the way. So, yeah. But I can assure everyone it was as much anticipated in office as it was probably outside of our office. There's been quite a few of us waiting to get our hands on this thing and start using it. So.
Yeah. And I could reveal a little detail now. As we're recording this, it's actually the audio is actually going through the K-Mix, and then it's sent out to my Zoom recorder. So it's all working. It's all working. This is proof.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you show me how we set it up now?
Yep. Absolutely. So if you want to take a look at the K-Mix down here, I'll show you how we got it set up. Right here we have a little pocket operator going into channels 3 and 4. We've got the microphone that I'm speaking into going into channel 1 here. And then additionally we have another one of our R&D products, the string port, the audio from that, which is a MIDI synth guitar, going into channel 5 here. Yeah. So that's how we got it all set up. Right here, I'll go into the main thing. We've got the faders up on those channels and the master fader up for the main output, which is driving these speakers here, the little Meyer sound speakers that we got, just so I can hear what's going on during this demo. But for the recording, we set up an aux send, aux 1, that's 3 and 4 out here, going into the Zoom recorder that you can see there. To access that, I press this aux button here, and you can see I got my faders up for the aux. And
it's very bright in here, so these. Yeah, when we see him shading, we could see that it lights up, right?
Absolutely, and so you see I got the aux send and the aux send up there, so we got the audio coming out, and that's how we got the whole thing set up here.
So you just press aux 1 and then do your little mix for aux 1.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you press it again to leave it. Right?
Yep. Yeah. And then just for clarity here, we also set up some panning on the of the aux channel. So when I hit pan here, you'll see I can select any of these input channels, and these are the panners for the mains, aux 1, aux 2, aux 3. So I'm going to be using this panner because that's the aux 1 panner. And so you can see I have selected, because it's green here, the microphone that I'm speaking into, hard panned into the left channel. Yeah. And then our audio sources are hard panned right.
I didn't have cable enough to do stereo for the rest of the sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. So if I hit play on this guy. So now we got this. It's all been, you know, when you change the master now, you didn't change the aux.
That's correct.
Right?
That's correct. So I adjusted the mains volume here, the master slider there, and that's what's controlling our monitor speakers here. Yeah. So I reduced the volume on the monitor speakers just for us talking out here, but it's still going out of the auxes at the full level.
Yeah. And what we're seeing on the little Mac here is you're just monitoring the controls, basically.
That's correct. I do have the K-Mix editor open, and that's just gives you visual feedback to actually see what's going on here. Yeah. You can see the visual feedback of what's going on when I adjust things on the K-Mix, but the editor is actually not required to use the K-Mix in the mode that we're doing right now. I can shut that off. Actually, I can even disconnect the computer in this mode. We're using it in standalone mixer mode. Yeah. The only reason why I have it up is just so we can see with labels some of the other things that are going on, but the computer is not needed at all in the way that we're using it.
To power it.
To power it, yes. Yeah. It is being powered by the computer right now. Yeah. That's correct.
Yeah. So, and then we have this guy. If you make some sound. Yeah. So now this sound is coming in on channel number. Yeah, there you go. And if you would like to apply some compression to this channel, what do you do?
We can do that, and I'm going to actually go back to main mode and boost this up a little bit so I can hear it better. Then, in order to access the compressor, you press the compressor button here. I'm on channel 5, which is his channel, and you can see these LEDs come up under here, which will give you the controls and give you indication of what controls each of these do. This is the threshold. We've got ratio here, the release, and the makeup gain. So I can adjust the threshold here. We'll adjust it down, increase the ratio a bit, apply a little makeup gain, and you can hear that there now. Additionally, there are some additional functions because we have the 4 rotaries here. If I hold down the shift, the one rotary remains lit. That will be the attack parameter. So I can go ahead and adjust the attack of the compressor there as well.
So a number of functions might have like secondary functions with a shift.
That's correct. A lot of the effects will have secondary functions. Panning has secondary functions, and gate have secondary functions.
Yeah.
Or not panning, excuse me. Well, actually, panning does have a secondary mode. EQ is what I meant to say. EQ has secondary functions.
Yeah, okay. So speaking of EQ, if we'd also like to set some EQ parameters.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Brighten it up a bit.
Yeah. All right, so we would go ahead and press EQ. That's staying for channel 5 was already selected, so I'm still there.
Yeah.
I can go in and boost the lows a little bit. I can boost the mids a little bit, adjust the mid frequency. And adjust the highs here. The shift functions for that. If I hold down shift, I can adjust the low frequency, the high frequency. My guitar player just stopped playing.
Yeah.
Keep playing, man.
Keep playing.
And then the mid cue.
If you want the guitar player to keep playing, you shout.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. And if like for the vocals, if we would like to try the reverb on the vocals, for instance.
Absolutely.
What do we do?
We would go ahead and select channel 1. Then we would go to verb. Actually, the channel is not necessary to select for verb because it's and then you'll see up there, you can get an idea of how it is. There's a channel send level, which is controlled on the K-Mix by the faders in verb mode. So I turn the send up, and then I turn up the reverb level in the mix. And that's how you would apply the reverb.
So right now there should be reverb. Okay, so we did a little change in the routing here just to hear the master effects, because most of the effects are placed per channel, like EQ and compressor and what else? Gate, yeah.
Compressor, gate, and EQ are per channel.
Yeah.
The reverb is only on the master bus.
And I suspect you can hear it right now, right? I forgot to turn it off.
Yeah, it's down there.
So we're in this big hall right now. Yeah.
Hopefully we're understandable.
Yeah. So this is what the reverb sounds like. You can change it. You know, you can see the parameters here. Pre-delay, decay time, damping, diffusion. Let's change some of the parameters while I'm talking, or maybe while I'm singing. When this is how it sounds with less decay time. This is how it sounds with a lot of diffusion, but almost no delay time. And the damping, you know, if you have a lot of decay time and a lot of damping, how does it sound? So the damping, yeah. You know, these rotaries are used for these things, you know. So now it should be epic but mushy.
Epic and mushy.
Yeah. Epic and mushy. Yeah. So this is the. I thought it sounded pretty good actually.
Yeah.
Is it a stereo effect?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it should be audible that it's actually a stereo. Okay. So what else do we need to try out?
Let's take the reverb down.
Yeah, that's good. Another thing that I would like to try is to just disconnect everything and just do a raw recording straight to my computer using this as a USB audio interface.
Okay, sounds great.
Is there anything I need to think about while setting it up for that?
It's pretty easy to set up as an audio interface. So I don't think that there's anything, and then connecting it is just like you connect it as a mixer.
Yeah, it's class compliant, right?
It is. It's class compliant USB audio and class compliant MIDI. So even in control surface mode, it's 100% class compliant.
There is one more thing I'd like to know. If I like this setting, I'm ready to go on tour. I want this setting. How do I save it?
You save it by coming down onto the board here. You'll select preset mode, and main is flashing to indicate that I've been editing the main preset. That's what the current preset that I was on. And then to save it, if I want to save it onto, say I don't want to change what I had set up on the main preset and I want to save it to a new preset, I would hold shift and then press the aux button. It'll flash. I'll come out and it'll still flashing the main.
So we're still on the main.
Right. And then if I want to exit the preset mode, then I would do that.
Yeah.
And then then to recall the preset, say I wanted it for later, say I'm back in the main preset mode, which I'm not going to select because that's going to mess up our settings here. To select that preset, I would do preset and main. Yeah. But then to select the preset I just created, I'd press preset and aux then, and it would snap into that.
Basically A, B, C, D, the alphabetic.
Yep, and you can store 12 presets on board. And also, the presets that you set up on the board can be exported off of the board onto your computer and saved for later. So if the limitation, there's only a 12 limitation on what you can store on the machine, but you can export those onto a computer and have a backlog of many presets if you need a lot of presets.
This would be really helpful for people who are playing in many bands, for example. I had a lot of gear set up, and this is the setup for band A, and this is the setup for playing background electronics for Cuckoo, and this stuff.
And if you're doing even more complicated stuff, maybe per song changes.
Yeah.
And you can set this up with external MIDI to actually change the presets from an external device if you needed to. If you had this just on stage, you had a foot switch or something, and you wanted to send a program change presets, you can do that as well.
That's great. Yeah, cool. Let's set it up and record it straight to the computer.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, so basically I'm just gonna connect it to the computer. It just appears in my list of audio interfaces as a class compliant device. I select it here, and there it is. And when I select it, it's just active. We're recording, and it's working. I got the trim option here. Trim, and the vocals is here. Just gonna see. Record and enable a track here. Record. I'm gonna call it vocals. At some point it's gonna clip horribly, but I'm gonna turn it down to something like this, maybe. Yeah, let's hope it sounds okay. And then I'm gonna, this is the output, so I could monitor the output without affecting the input. Yeah, this is good. And then I'm gonna set up a second track, a stereo track, with track 3 and 4 input 3 and 4. That is this little guy. And if I press record, yeah, got the monitor. Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna see you today. Da-na-na. We're gonna see you again tonight. Hey, I'm gonna see you today. Da-na-na. We're gonna see you again tonight. It all works fine. It works. You know, sometimes you can get a little technical because there's a lot of options that you can do. Like you could run it in pre-USB mode, post USB mode. There are faders that can mean different things when you're in pre or post mode, and serving different purposes. And like for me, I just want to connect it, and I want to be able to set the trims and set the audible outputs, and you know, it just works fine. And just to be clear, I could use the compressor on the K-Mix, right, and record the compressed signal. Yeah.
It is set up in that mode right now to be able to use all of the onboard effects.
Yeah. So this is very good. This is very good. Yeah, I'm happy. So these are shipping. They're shipping now, right?
Yes.
And how are you doing in terms of what's available and availability?
Right now, we are fulfilling all of the pre-orders that we had, and we expect our first production shipment very soon. That will be, and they're widely available. You can go online and order them right now, but everything is on its way, and they are immediately available. So,
cool. And are they? Where do you produce them?
These are made in China.
So you got an agreement with the factory there?
Yeah, we have. Yep, we have an agreement with the manufacturing company there. Yeah, that's where we get them built. But we work very hand in hand with them, so which we have for all of our other products as well. So,
is there some particular feature or something that you would like to point out, as you're very proud of, or you think it matters a lot?
One of the fun features on here is the onboard 8-channel surround or 7.1, 5.1 quad surround. For people who are interested in surround mixing, it's a very interesting feature for such a small mixer to be able to do that and have the 4 360-degree panners.
That's pretty cool. I think it makes sense for someone who would like to do a more art-oriented performance in a smaller space and just manage everything yourself in this mixer.
Exactly, and that combined with the touch surfaces makes it a really interesting thing to do some kind of maybe avant-garde live performance with on an 8-channel system. Yeah.
I think it's a very cool product. It matters for people on a budget or people who want to travel lightly, or a lot of bands. I've always said to people that ask me about the K-Mix that for me it's what microKORG was for synthesizers, the K-Mix is for mixers. It might be a rudimentary way of putting it, but it's for a lot of people.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's a good way of putting it. It really it's awesome in terms of size and power, and it's really like I've said to you a few times, and just from the talk around the office, there's a lot of us that really were excited to get this thing in our hands because we have real practical uses, and there wasn't something that really fit this sort of thing. So we're excited that it's out. We're excited to be using it, and yeah, it's awesome.
Has this product been a special product for Keith himself?
It has, for sure. Actually, this was one of the reasons why we went down this path was because Keith was going somewhere and he needed a small mixer, and he was like, there isn't something that's just really convenient to take along with me. So that was the impetus of this whole thing, really. So this is a special project for him. Also because he was doing stuff way back with digital mixers in their design back in the early days. So this is a personal project for him. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, best of luck. I hope the launch is fantastic and you sell out every shipment.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks.